today we're going to kind of talk about how modded content, stuff, modded pictures, modded character models, and their impact on both this community and how social media has kind of leached its way into how MCs interact with each other. Uh, Either the two of you have anything you want to say before we kind of, jump into this topic?
It's your boy.
Come on.
Really?
Come on now.
Are you gonna stereotypically
That-
hey
that
yo
was my one
YouTube,
preview.
it's your boy Day Day.
No,
Check out my next
that's it.
video. Like, don't do that. Like,
No, that was it. It's your boy.
it's
Skinny
your boy.
Jeez. All right. Great insert there, David.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Who's your
But
favorite content creator, Gunslinger?
that's hard to say. I really there's a few that I like as far as like actual content versus fake content. Uh, one of my favorite GTA photographers, and she's not really in the MC community, was always Mama Snuggles. Does a lot of cool stuff with in-game effects and lighting and no editing software. It's all, very stringent, just straight Rockstar editor stuff. Dirty Worker is very good about that stuff too. He's got a lot of custom maps, and he knows a lot of people that come out with a lot of great content. As far as the modded side, really, I mean, the big name in the game is biker mods. I mean, most of us know that, and I disagree with some of the stuff they do. I don't look down on them as a company, though. I mean, I hesitate to call them a company, as an organization, because they do provide a service. I mean, nobody's forcing anybody to get any of this stuff. You don't. It's not like it's a requirement. But I feel like they definitely have a disconnect on real club culture, and they're more interested in stuff that just looks cool as opposed to accuracy. But yeah, definitely, if I had
I
to
could
pick
agree with that.
one, Mama Snuggles is up there. Dab Queen obviously is a great photographer. There was a guy I used to follow for a while. His name was Your Only Hope. Did a lot of car show stuff and like car culture stuff. I really liked his. I haven't seen anything from him lately. There's Guido. He used to be in Red Menace. Now I believe he's with Ironside MC. He's over on the Xbox side of things. He does a lot of amazing photography stuff, and is very in with the community. And I actually had talked to him at one point about expanding Full Throttle Thursday onto Xbox and him hosting it.
I remember that. Speaking of Red Menace, the current Red Menace guys are, they put out some of the best, in my opinion, some of the best not modded content, especially on the Red Dead side.
I
There's
like
dev.
looking at. I like
But
Rattler shit. I like Unholy Red Bear. I don't know if y'all know who that is. I like his shit.
I
He
haven't
makes
met
really
him.
good.
I know a lot. Like I talked to a lot of the unholy ones, but I don't know
Yeah,
his stuff specifically.
if you check out some of his content, he's like, I mean, Unholy Ones are like this dark black and white theme. Like all of them are like that when you look at their shit. But his is like he kind of changes up the pictures and the actual filters that he uses. So his shit's pretty cool. He has a nice variety of shit. And then of course I like T's fucking editing. So
So I was going to ask you about that because T does, he posts a lot of modded content. Does he do like does he actually like make the stuff himself, or does he go through a third party like say like biker mods? And
I know T went through biker mods and but T has a PC, so he went through biker mods. He got most of his shit, and then he just started taking his own pictures with the content, the modded
okay,
stuff that they gave. So he takes the pictures on the Rockstar editor, but it's using their modded stuff.
all right. So that was sort of my kind of confusion on it. I wasn't sure because I knew he had gotten a decent rig. Um, Josh, is there any like who's your main content creators you follow on as far as Instagram and shit like that?
Man, I don't follow a lot of like modded content, to be honest with you. I tend to well, stay away from it. Cause I don't know. It's like fake to me. You know what I mean? It's like if my Instagram page is full of modded content, it's like I'm eating fast food for my creative brain. It's like it's not real. You know what I mean? There's no sustenance to it.
I understand what you're saying, and I've brought that up a couple times where it's a video game world. It's all fake,
Yeah,
really.
true.
But by the same token, you somehow manage to fabricate even further because if you take content straight from GTA, you'll record footage online and um, you know we're hanging out, we take pictures, create scenarios, whatever. At least there's actual people involved,
Right.
and if you have a decent PC, or even if you don't even have to have a decent PC, if you just are willing to shell out the money to say, like I said, somebody like Biker Mods, where you can create a patch, you can create characters, you can spawn a bunch of bikes, and you can shape a narrative with your captions and whatever pictures you choose to make. You can create the existence of an entire club that isn't there. I mean, you don't have to have the real people. They don't have to exist.
So
Now
it's
I
funny you say that because I was gonna say is I like the I like looking at regular content as opposed to modded content. Like I don't mind seeing modded content, but if a person's got only modded content, I'm not gonna look at their account. I'm not gonna waste my time liking every fucking shit. But because I like to see the story behind the picture, right? Like when you take a picture, it has a story behind it. There's no story behind it if they bought the content. They didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like they're making a story that they weren't a part of. Like, oh, this is this character that some guy made, and he's now you have a picture of him doing something with a character he made for you. Cool, I guess. I like it when people are like interacting with other clubs and they have pictures of that because to me there's a story behind it. I know that you guys had an interaction. I know you guys rode with each other or whatever. I got a story from looking at the picture. I see modded content, I automatically assume that they bought it from someone. So it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't hold story. It doesn't hold weight. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying, and that kind of goes along that like those lines where Exiled's a bigger club as far as some community. Like some people think that we're not that big if you compare us to say a group like Deadly Tribe, where they have a decent amount of members. They can grab anybody at any point in time and invade a lobby. But I mean, we still have three fairly decent sized active charters, and uh, if we host a party or an event or something to that matter, and Full Throttle Thursday is a perfect example of that. And while I know that was kind of my own personal pet project and less of a club thing, I always end up being a representative of Exiled, so it kind of ends up being a club thing, whether I want it to or not. Uh, I don't have to fake filling a lobby with 30 bikes and 30 player models and having that interaction with people. If we would host events with Exile where we'd do poker runs, we had a Cinco de Mayo event. The last couple of years we've done Halloween events the last couple of years, and we always end up with 25 to 30 people in that lobby, and those are all real. They're all individuals. They're all you know there there's more than one creative source behind it. They have their own ideas of what something should look like, or how their character should be dressed, or how they present themselves, and that shows. So then you have groups that they make a modded post of some part, like this is our block party, and it's a bunch of modded bikes, and they'll use NPC models too, like, oh, all the neighbors came over and hung out with us, like, cause that, like, it just oozes bullshit. Like it just seems entirely insincere, and that was one of those things. It's like, yeah, we do all this cool stuff. I said, yeah, but none of it's real. Like that's all. It's all lies. We
what drives me crazy about it is people try to use that to flex. And
Yeah. Like, what
and
are you flexing? Your wallet? You bought that? Cool.
Yeah. People try to flex their club like they have strength on GTA because of a modded block party picture they posted, and that's where it's weird to me. If you make modded content because you're a content creator and you have like no ties to the MC community, maybe you just thought motorcycle clubs were cool and you wanted to fucking, I don't know, make a story about it and put it on Instagram, that's one thing. But if you're a club out there that's buying modded content to flex on your quote unquote enemies, like
No, ops. You gotta
that's
say ops. They're the
ops.
ops.
Sorry, I
Don't
Yeah.
I don't
don't
speak
start using
I don't
it.
speak the lingo apparently of the MC community well enough. I'm not well versed,
Oh my god.
and that's probably more by choice than anything.
As it should be.
Yeah. Any decent
Yeah,
human being.
no, I agree. It's one of those things where, in general, this community takes a lot of stuff and tries to make it way more important than it is. In every aspect that they possibly can. There's so much drama and like schoolyard bullshit oozing out of every corner of this community. It doesn't matter what platform you're on either, whether it's PC, whether it's Xbox, whether it's PlayStation. You get that so much, and the ones that I have to laugh at are the guys that are so all about their club. They're gung ho about it. Whatever, forever, forever, whatever. Like, and they're all about that. And then they're talking shit back and forth. They're on the comments of their enemy club's posts. They're posting pictures. They're posting videos. They're posting patch pics. Whatever. And then for whatever reason, either that club shuts down, or they leave, or they get kicked out, or whatever reason, they're not with that club anymore. And then they act like none of it happened. Suddenly, you were talking shit a week ago. What the fuck? Well, I
Oh,
don't care.
dude.
Like that was just for the club. I don't like. I'm not with them anymore. And like I didn't mean it. And you see a lot of them backpedal, and they want to be like. Then they want to be friendly with whoever they were talking to shit with, or they want to act like They weren't just saying anything and everything they could to get a rise out of them or make it offensive. Because suddenly they don't have that affiliation anymore. So that means that they didn't do it. Never happened.
I
People,
think I think the community has always been toxic and weird, but I think social media definitely took it a different route because now you have this other platform where people can interact with each other on a higher level because now you can comment, you can see the pictures posted as soon as the
You
fight's
have
over with.
instant
Blah, blah,
access.
blah,
You can
blah.
tag people.
Yeah, it's instant access to the drama and the all the fucking shit you want to be a part of, right? So then you have these guys that not only are people going to try to flex harder because now they have the means to do it, they're going to be trying to talk more shit to each other. They're going to be more upset about things because now it's seen on a public scale because now everyone in the community is connected to each other on this social media. So now everyone sees you looking like a dumbass or whatever the fuck whatever importance it holds to you to have yourself posted up on someone's Instagram. So people just get into it back and forth because now there's social media and now I have to this and that and I have to show I'm this good and I'm just because there's social media. It's weird. It's kind of gay, honestly.
Data, you've been in the community a little bit longer than Josh has, I believe. Uh,
Yeah.
so you remember this whole MC thing before Instagram was really a big part of it, right?
But yeah, I remember when I made the Striker MC Instagram. Like
Okay,
I
so
remember when I did that. So yeah,
and Exiled was very similar. We were very late to the game when it came to Instagram because it just wasn't something that like interested us because it meant it was the whole point of it was interacting with the community. None of us gave a shit about what
yeah,
anybody else thought.
yeah.
So it seemed like a
Still
dumb
don't.
idea initially. I still don't think but like just the concept of it was dumb. Um,
Yeah,
so I suppose like you remember when it was just Social Club, right?
yeah, yeah. Or at
Josh,
least
and I don't know if you do either. Um,
I joined Exiled like as Social Club was phasing out.
Okay, so it used to be, and I know there's going to be people that listen to this episode that are in this community that may not understand that or weren't there for it or don't quite get it as far as how this used to work. And I know a lot of us try to talk about the glory days and how it used to be so much better, which is typically like 90% bullshit. It's a lot of nostalgia and it's a lot of bullshit. But before the community really kind of embraced Instagram as a media platform. Like you had guys making YouTube videos, and it was promo videos, maybe it was fight videos, uh, and there was shit talk going back and forth. But the primary means of interacting with other clubs outside of the game itself was Social Club, and Rockstar's Social Club is a terrible platform for that. It's not built for it. Um, like so if somebody posts a patch pick or any sort of like they can post Rockstar editor pictures too, but patch picks was the main reason that existed or why you'd have these guys they would meme them out with a whole bunch of text and it was put little red X's over the guy's eyes and a scorecard and like five like to the point where you can almost like the only thing that's visible in the picture anymore is the guy's patch because the rest of it's covered up with stupid text and like paragraphs of shit on him because you couldn't write captions like you can on Instagram. And you couldn't tag people in them. You couldn't tag users anyway. The only way GTA would tag a player is if they were alive. Like the player was actually there when you took the picture. But if you're just taking a picture of a dead body, it doesn't tag them. Uh, and you didn't get any notifications with this. Like you had to physically go to somebody's profile, look up their photo, and like scroll down see how many comments had been posted since the last time you looked at it. Like there was no follow function. It didn't notify you when somebody else made a comment or somebody replied to what you said or somebody posted a new picture. Like you only got a feed update that somebody posted a picture if you were friends with them on Social Club. And that was a whole nother level to it. So it was much more like vindictive. Like there was much more interest in it. You couldn't just passively follow people. There was active like effort put into it. And it meant that only the super tryhards and the people that were really interested in that were the ones who did it. Everybody else was like, "Yeah, I made a patch pick, whatever," and then they just like they post it and then just fucking ignore it. Like whoever posted it would get a notification if somebody commented on it, but everybody else involved wouldn't know or care. And
Huh.
Instagram has destroyed all of that.
Completely. If you somebody can take your comment the wrong way, and then all of a sudden your club's at war with them. It's just ridiculous.
It's so much chest puffing. Like that's really what like it's all posturing. It's all look how badass I am or what you say to me, and it's all these internet tough guys, and I gotta laugh at it because it's ridiculous. Because most of them are teenagers
Yeah.
that haven't had any sort of actual interactions, and that's not to say that there's anything wrong with being a teenager. All of us were one at some point, but I remember 15-year-old me. 15-year-old me was fucking stupid. Like
Oh
15 year
yeah.
old me was that same person. Like I played video, like I was into online gaming then, and I talked a bunch of shit, and like I was an asshole. And I would like if I ran into like myself, from that many years ago online now, I'd call him stupid. And like I'd just dismiss him. I wouldn't give him the time of day because you shouldn't. Because that's not something to aspire to. You can't argue with that mentality. You can't argue with that type of personality because they just want to argue. They don't care that that they're wrong or even if they're right. Like they'll argue more when they're right, but when you prove them wrong, then they just want to argue to argue. Like that's all it is. Like they just want the drama. They want the attention. It doesn't have to be positive or negative.
Yeah. Just the whole Man, if everybody just deleted their Instagram and worried about their own clubs, what if people put as much effort into their modded content, keeping up with Instagram posts, fucking hundreds of comments on one post of people just talking shit back and forth, put all that energy into their own clubs, how many successful clubs would there be?
There would be way more successful clubs, and I feel like there would be a lot less crew hoppers. But uh, you don't. There's no instant gratification in that because it requires work, and that's kind of the mentality of a lot of people is they just want it to be successful now. They need it now. And, like JG Wentworth, it's my money and I need it now. But it's like I want the likes, I want the views, I want the attention, I want people talking about me, I want the clout. Which I fucking laugh at that goddamn word because I can't even say it with a straight face. I can't say clout with a straight face because it's such an absurd fucking thing to
So,
attach to a gaming community. Like that's not to say this is insignificant. Like obviously, I feel like the relationships we build with people through it are very important um, because they are very true friendships. But in the grand scheme of things, all of us are really like not like none of this fucking matters.
no, none of what I do on GTA matters. Nothing that I post on Instagram matters.
Day Day, how many followers do you have on Instagram right now?
Is he gone again?
He did that again, didn't he?
Jeez, he did say he'd be here for most of it.
Well, like I said, he's got two kids, so I understand if he's
Yeah.
got to step away for a second. Um, but last time, Day Day.
Oh, my fucking shit was unplugged. Can you hear
Oh
me now?
my. Yes, I can hear you now. How many followers
Okay,
do you
yeah.
have on Instagram right now?
2,000 and something. 2,424.
All right, so you're up to
Hmm.
20. You're up to 2,400 followers. You're a somewhat influential like figure as far
I
as
wouldn't
our
say
community goes.
influential, but yeah,
Argue
we'll go with
it,
that.
like arguably the most recognizable face in the GTA MC world would be Lord Dirty Worker. I mean, most people, whether you love him or hate him, you can't really dispute that he has a certain level of notoriety, and he's got like 12,000 followers.
Hmm.
And the thing is, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eight something like 3/4 of a million people sign on to GTA Online every week. That's like it's I think it works out to like 85,000 players a day. All
yeah.
right. The most of the GTA MC community plays in free aim, which is less than 1% of the daily player base. It has to be just by the sheer volume
You
of
think so?
it has
Oh
to
yeah.
be.
Just think about how many times you see the same people in
You see
lobbies
the
over and
same
over again.
people over and over
Even the
again. You
99ers.
can lobby hop all day, and I'll
Yeah.
keep running into the same like four or five people a couple times because there's only a handful of free aim lobbies because there's just not that much of a player base to it. So you take the free aim community and then you compartmentalize that even further into just MCs, and it's such a minuscule amount of the player base that if I go to auto aim, unless somebody's on my friends list, I can lobby hop all day, all day.
Mhm.
Like I said, 85,000 people a day by 30 split by 30 player lobbies. You can go from lobby to lobby to lobby to lobby to lobby. You're never going to see the same person again unless it's somebody that's on your friends list or somebody that's actively like following you. So everyone always brings up oh well the MC community's dying and all this other stuff and the truth of the matter is I mean it might be, but it's already small. It's
Yeah.
it's it's already very small, and I think that people think that it's a lot bigger than it is, and it's not. The fact that we got a biker update kind of astounded me because I know for a fact how small of a community it is. It's a very passionate community. It's a
Oh yeah.
it's a very
No
active
doubt.
community. It's a very vocal community, but it's still a very small percentage of a player base of hundreds of thousands.
Oh yeah.
So all these people that act like we're owed something by Rockstar, but I made a story post on Instagram earlier. It was about the fact that one of the insults that gets thrown at people is that you're irrelevant. All of us are fucking irrelevant. There's there's not enough of us for it to be relevant to fucking what? Like like
Anything that happens on GTA is irrelevant. Like anything and everything.
yeah.
And a damn show shouldn't be relevant to anyone you playing against. That's fucking stupid. Like,
No, well, like
you know
it's
what I
like,
mean?
oh,
Like,
you're
you're
scared of me, you're
irrelevant.
running
You're
away.
irrelevant to me too. What are you talking about?
It's like, you're scared of me, you're
Yeah.
running away. I'm like, I'm gonna go find another lobby so I can play the game the way I want to play it. Like, I have no obligation to entertain you. And that goes back to the social media. It's like people take screenshots and video of everything, and
Yeah.
then post it like, look, so and so left the lobby. Like, what if they fucking disconnected? Like, this game's 6 years old. The servers on it are terrible. Everybody who plays it on a regular basis knows that GTA servers are terrible. Like, you constantly get stuck in the clouds, or you get stuck on loading screens, or you get dropped out of lobbies. And it's not always like, yeah, obviously there's assholes that are booters or whatever, but it's not always that. Like, there's plenty of times I'll be in a lobby with just my friends. Like, nobody has anything malicious there, and all of a sudden I'll be in a session by myself. I'll drop out of it. And I have good internet. Like, it's like the game itself is broken, but everything is something that can be spun or used as to create drama, because social media gives all these people an audience.
Yeah.
Gives
The
them a
only reason
stage to fucking perform on.
The only reason it creates the drama is because there's people out there that fucking take it seriously and get upset when somebody else says that they got off of a video game. Like, take a step back, relax. What this person from who knows where in the world says does not matter at all. Especially not on Instagram.
Not at all. No, none of it matters. That's a double-edged sword, though. I mean, it has to matter to a certain extent, otherwise we wouldn't put as much effort into it as we do.
True.
Like,
True.
I mean, I know that Exiled is not a physically real motorcycle club. I know it is a video game crew. It's still very important to me. Like, I still formed very good relationships with the people that are in it. I still care about them. It is still shaped my life in a variety of ways. But
But that's what's important to you,
that
not the combat, not the bullshit.
I don't give a
and the
shit if we want to
shit
fight against.
talking.
Yeah, I don't give a shit if we
Yeah.
want to fight against so and so. I don't care if they're talking shit, because what difference does it make? Like,
My
those
club's still
people.
gonna be here at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, I brought that up about like
Yeah.
patch rips and shit. Like, I've had my patch ripped dozens of times on this. I
Oh
mean,
my
if not
God.
hundreds.
I got a perfect story for that.
And I'll let you have that thought just so. But like,
Yeah.
I've had it my patch ripped dozens of times. It doesn't mean I'm not like, I don't lose my spot in my club. It's not like it's real life and I have to go talk to another MC and figure out how to get my colors back. Like, it's a picture. Like, yeah, is it meant to be disrespectful? Sure, fine, whatever. But we're fighting each other. I don't give a shit if you respect me or not. Like, fuck off. Like, that's
Yeah.
the whole point. So like, a lot of
Yeah.
people get really really upset about patch rips, and I find those stupid. But I'll let
I
David
think
have his
I,
story before I keep rambling.
okay. I think the reason people get upset about it is because there is a light that's put on it, and then some of those people are like, "Oh, we can't look like no bitch, motherfuckers ripping our patch, shit like that." Blah blah blah. Blah. Now, to a sensible person, none of that shit would matter. But to some of these people that are younger, they, that this is all that they came in under. That's all they know. So they see it that way. Like, oh, that's disrespect. Like, there's a club we beefing with now that we were friends with before, and the guy just goes on and on about how we disrespected them, so they gonna disrespect us, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. What's up then? Let's fight. Like, we fighting, right? So we get to fighting. We tried to get to fight them. We were waiting outside their house, and they come out later, and I'm like AFK at this point. Guy comes up, stabbed me, patch ripped me, right? He's like, oh, we got you, disrespected your ass. We done patch ripped you, motherfucker. That shit going up on the ground. We got your bitch ass. You disrespected than a motherfucker. No respect for your punk ass. Shit like that. I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, you took a picture of a dead character on GTA. How in the world does that disrespect me? He's like, your club's fucking done. We got you. Y'all disrespected. Y'all are done. I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure my crew's still going to be here when you get through posting that picture. Like, what are you talking about? They just don't understand. Like,
I wonder if that's why there's so many like pop-up clubs and crew hoppers, is because every time something like that happens, they think they have to start over.
that might be the case.
I mean, I never really considered that, but like, listen to you talk like somebody, like there are people out there, and I know there's people out there that are like that. So the thought occurs to me, it was like, so is that why all these motherfuckers like I
Because
like,
if that's the case, I'm gonna just start patch ripping people to make this community better. You know what I mean?
Cleanse the community. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Get rid of the stupid motherfuckers.
cleanse? There was once a great purge, that didn't really mean anything, but no, I have to wonder if like, because I have a couple of terms that I use, and like one of them is chameleon clubs, and it's where the only thing that changes is their colors. So, like, the club will shut down and they'll start back up, but they'll have a new patch and a new name. But it's all the same people. Like, none of the other stuff is still like, it's the same club. It's just they've got a new name and a new patch. And I gotta wonder if that's where that kind of comes from. Is these people that think, oh well, our patch got ripped or we got disrespected, we can't fly those colors anymore.
There's no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. I don't buy it because those people are not sensible. There's no way. It's like I've heard rumors. I've never been in the mafia family community, but like back in the day, supposedly if you could kill somebody, make it to an airport and fucking fly away or something, then like they had to make a new account or some shit. Like,
they would have to make
definitely
a new character. The mafia was very big into the whole assassination thing for a while.
That's a thing.
But I don't think
yeah.
these kids that are screaming on mic about just obscure things and posting on Instagram are going, oh, we got patch ripped, we can't fly those colors anymore. Like, there's no way that's the thought process.
I think that the clubs that do that, now I'm not going to say it's necessarily that they get patch ripped and they close down. There are clubs that do that. That's in fact the thing. But I don't think that most of the clubs that are chameleon clubs, as he explained his little gayness. But
fuck you.
I don't think all the clubs that are chameleon clubs are that reason. I think that the clubs that are chameleon clubs, they usually shut down, and it's because of drama, whether it's internal or external, and they just come back together and then make the patch again. So
a couple months later.
I would blame some of that on social media. Like, obviously the drama that they would have that would be outside the club would have to be fed through social media. That's the only way someone else from the outside of your club could do that, unless they were in it. You know what I mean? Because
I've talked to a couple people that did that. Like, they shut down and then they would open up a new club with a new patch and a new name, but it was all the same people. And the one instance that I remember of it, it was mostly just because they got bored with it. They wanted a new look, they wanted a new style, and that goes into a whole other, Pandora's box of what patches mean. Like, what it should be something, but that's a whole other episode that we can do at some point. But what it boils down to is that their patch isn't important to them in any way, so they don't care if they change it. Like, it doesn't mean anything, so they go off, like, oh, we'll find another cool looking picture on Google Images and we'll throw some rockers around it and
hell yeah,
find another word to put next to Reaper, and we'll be this club now.
Find another name to put next to Reaper.
And they gotta buy a whole new set of pictures from biker mods and start the process all over again.
Oh my god, I hate that more than anything. Is the clubs that oh my god, this is like the worst, bro. When it's a chameleon club, but it's also a strictly modded social media club. I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right.
Like,
so it's like they throw
$100 at making their club up, modded, and then that club disbands and they do it again with a different one. It's like,
Hmm.
how much money do you have, and how many times are you
That
going to
that kind
change
of
your
goes
page?
into like another term that I like to use, which is amnesia profiles, which are the ones where anytime like some big change happens, like it doesn't matter like if they join a new club or they leave or whatever, they go through and they'll delete everything on their profile and put up stuff for just whatever their current club is.
It's gotta
Like
be
not like
exhausting.
act like none of the other stuff mattered, none of it happened. Like that wasn't important. This is who I am now. So you have these guys that have like 300 followers and like two posts because they've gone through so many clubs and they used to have a bunch of content. Well, now they're in this club, so I have to get rid of all that other stuff. Put this up here, and to
What
me,
are
that's
clubs
just
requiring that?
well, some clubs. Yeah, I was thinking of a very specific example about that too. Um, that will remain nameless, but basically, if you cease to be a member of that club anymore, their president will file a copyright claim against you if you do not
Okay, but
if
that's
you
too much information.
if you
Everybody's
do
going to know who you're talking about.
if you do not take down anything that has their patch in it.
Oh my gosh.
We will
If you don't take
sue
down
you,
all the
your
pictures,
ass.
you'll have a DMCA takedown filed against you, and
Can you stop?
and
Like, oh, that reminds me. I'm gonna tell you later.
Stop.
I could tell you because you could just cut it out because we're not live.
no,
So,
we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later.
but it's funny, and I'm gonna forget it.
Make a
Write it
note,
down.
write something down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna type it in my phone. I'm gonna type it. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, but like again, that goes to how social media allows people to kind of create whatever personality that they want. Like you can just act like the past didn't happen, and it's you get these guys that they change names a lot, and that used to be really confusing because you'd have these people they'd club hop a lot and they change their name on Instagram. Now they changed their name on the PSN too, like because that's a thing we can do. So you have these guys that just disappear into a new identity. Whenever something doesn't go their way, like they'll delete, friends of whoever, they'll change their name, they'll change their club, and suddenly they're a new person. And I don't know if if you guys run into this a lot, like somebody that you used to fight, or like that, like used to
Oh
know
my
you or
god.
you had beef with,
Okay,
like shows up with a
dude.
new persona. They're like, remember me? I'm like, no, who the fuck are you?
Uh, dude, don't even get me started. And the
I'm not
name
even one of
change,
those
mate.
either day.
The name change now. That shit makes it so much
It's
worse.
so
Like
much
before,
worse.
so I have a bad memory anyway. So even if you had the same gamer tag, I'm probably still not gonna remember you. But I'm telling you, there are guys that have grudges with us, and they switch clubs every fucking time. A new club will come up, and I'll be like, "Oh, this club looks like they'll be normal. Let me go hang out with these guys." And then they shoot me, and I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess they're the shoot everybody club." And then I get a text message, and he's like, "Fuck you, motherfucker! You don't remember me, bitch!" And I'm just like, "No, you
No,
have a
I don't.
different name." Another club, and I don't think I even knew who you were to begin with. Like, why?
It's that's that false sense of self-importance. Like everybody thinks that they're some sort of personality, and they're not. And yeah, the name changes have made it so much worse. It used to be, they even then, like even just changing accounts because people used to make new accounts all the time before they could change
Yeah.
names. And now it's the same ways. Now they just change your name. Which crew hopping's got to be expensive these days because it costs you $5 every time you want to change it. I mean, like I can't
Seriously.
imagine these motherfuckers like stealing their mom and dad's credit cards. It's like, what's this $5 charge again this month? And
This
but
week.
this week, what I was being generous, but like
This week.
no, is they have this. It's that ego. It's that sense of self-importance that comes out, and they're you remember who I am? I'm like, no, dude, I don't remember who you are. And sometimes it's not even important. Like I think about that sometimes, especially when you encounter random single players or like new
Mm.
clubs or like somebody you haven't seen before, and maybe you're just having a bad day and you decide to be an asshole to them. And then that's something that like forms their opinion of the community and your club, but like just as a whole, like I feel like I feel like inadvertently some of us create tryhards. Like I feel like that's really what happens is we were a dick
Uh,
to some level 5 or
you
whatever,
know what?
and now he's
You
been
know
on the
what?
grind for 6-8 months, and
Seeking
he's got
revenge.
oppressors
You're
and
not
white
even lying,
dreadlocks
man.
and everything, and he shows up. It's like I'm now a GTA god, and I will impose my will upon you, and
So,
and I feel like that happens and we don't think about it as much. But it goes back to you know our interaction. To me, it was nothing. You were just some guy that I saw that like fuck him, whatever. He's nobody. I killed him. To him, that was something really important. So months later, he's like, yeah, those are the assholes who fucking did that. Fuck those guys. And I'm like, oh, I don't remember you, but cool, whatever.
Yeah, some random crewless guy.
no, that's definitely a thing, man. That's definitely
What's
that's definitely a thing.
what's the you?
Especially when they're younger and they're what I'm
Oh,
saying, they're playing the
yeah.
game all the time,
Incredibly
and then they
impressionable.
constantly deal with people doing something to them. Then of course they genuinely begin to think that those things are important. They fucking that's
Did
part of the game. And
did
then
you
when
ever
they get
see?
involved with the social media side, it makes it 10 times worse.
Oh, it just amplifies everything because now it
Yeah,
becomes this
because
echo chamber.
Yeah,
Um,
because then they see these grown men fucking talking shit to each other. They think this shit is serious now because that's what they see. Like grown men are arguing and
for
tearing each
for
other
some
apart.
people, it is very
Obviously, it must
serious,
be
and they end
serious.
up getting a bunch of pizzas sent to their house and and stuff like that,
And
man.
get their
Like
uh
we're not going to talk about that, but well, maybe
No,
we
that
should. I
doesn't
don't.
even that
That's a
that
whole
doesn't even
other level.
deserve an episode. Yeah,
That
that's
could be an
just
episode in and of itself, honestly. Um,
my
but,
name's Dick.
but have you ever seen the live action Street Fighter movie with
No.
and the guy that played Gomez Adams in the Adams Family movies as Bison? And I'm terrible with names. I can't remember any of the actors, but it was like a mid '90s, like early mid '90s movie. It was a live action Street Fighter movie, and the girl that like Chun Li is going after Bison because he destroyed her village when she was a kid, and she wants revenge. She finally confronts him, this line that makes me think of this is when he speaks to the third person because he's an arrogant prick, but he goes, when Bison came to your village, it was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday, and it just shows that like that was a major thing for her. He didn't fucking care. Like it was insignificant, and it's that same thing where it's you know it's a chance interaction for the guys like us who have been doing this for a while and that have that play somewhat regularly, and that we that's gonna happen. You're gonna run into random people, but for them that may have been their first interaction with an MC. That may be their first free aim session. That may be whatever that's going to be formative to how they choose to continue playing this game or continue being part of this community.
that's true. That's so true.
Man, I think it's just like it's a wake up call. It's like, buckle up, buddy. If I shoot you with my AR, like that's the least of your worries at this point.
Right?
State of GTA.
Yeah,
If I happen to pop you with my pump action when I'm riding by on my bike, like tough shit. The oppressor's right behind me, so
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
you can't handle that. You in for
yeah,
a rude awakening.
you shouldn't even be on this game, bro. Like
that kind of goes into like
invisible
the
tanks and
yeah, all sorts
RC
of like
cars that
all the
explode.
all the bullshit that Rockstar has thrown into this game. A game that was originally about robbing banks and making money now has railgun tanks and jet motorcycles that fire rockets and
I feel
flying DeLoreans and ray guns and all this other stuff. Like we've gone full Saints Row.
Oh
I
yeah.
think the fact that we play free aim is the only thing that saves us to be able to ride our bike down the street in a public
That's
lobby.
extremely true.
Absolutely.
Like
Like if
Absolutely.
we were in auto aim, bro, we would not be able to go down the fucking street in
oh,
peace.
You
dude,
could
I go
just
like
gun down all the time.
I like to do stuff besides be in lobby wars and do TDMs. And if you want to launch any kind of job in GTA, whether it's a capture, last team standing, uh, races, parachuting, whatever, if you want to do anything besides be in a lobby war or do a TDM, you have to go to auto aim because it's a very small player base, and that's like the combat oriented side of the community. It's like those are the ones who actually want to be shooters, and so occasionally I find myself in auto aim. Like I'll find myself in auto aim lobbies, and I forget until I ride by some random on the street and immediately get popped off my bike. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I don't do this. And then like I go back to single player and switch my settings again because I want to go back to actually being able to be a biker. But like I really like racing, so I end up like if I want to fill a racing lobby because it's a great way to make money, honestly. Um, is you have to go to auto aim. But yeah, you instantly every pedestrian can instantly lock onto you and just shoot you in the face, and it's obnoxious. Like I think auto aim has kind of ruined GTA. Now, the people that play free aim have equally ruined GTA. Free aim itself is people like the free aim itself is fine, but the people that do that are also incredibly toxic and terrible, and I hate all of them. But like the auto aim and the playstyle that evolves around it is you're constantly worried about being shot. That's why you have all these armored cars. That's why you have stuff like a remote controlled car with a sticky bomb on it, or an RC tank, or flying rocket bikes. Like you have all this stuff to kind of sidestep the fact that the game will just lock on to exposed players. So you have to combat that in some way. So then you overcompensate and you end up with, Mad Max goes to space. And it's what it is. Like, I mean, like, it's like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
that's
it's like
that's
Mad
definitely
Max
what
the
it is.
23rd and a half century or whatever. It's like Star Trek plus, like, we've got fucking laser guns. Got laser guns and, like, cannons that fire from satellites in space that will obliterate you anywhere. Versus us riding motorcycles and carrying pistols, pump action shotguns, and assault rifles. Like the fuck.
Yeah.
What do you think about
It's crazy.
people who make modded content and involve the Lost MC?
I think no I like
In
it's
any capacity.
I suppose the capacity matters because there's people that just make legitimate content and involve the Lost MC,
True. True.
and they're part of the narrative of GTA. They exist within the GTA universe. So if you're trying to, you know, say we had a territory war with the Lost, or you're trying to shape some sort of narrative, or you're making a story of some kind where you need another MC there to, interact with, because sure, that works for your story, it's fine. The ones that are weird to me are the people that like they'll involve the Lost in some way and then try to act like it's some sort of accomplishment, or like they're badasses for killing a bunch of NPCs or beating the shit out of a bunch of NPCs.
Yeah.
Like
I think
it would be much more entertaining if like somebody, made a storyline where there was a reason they were going after the Lost. Like, you're making modded content anyway. Have a bunch of the Lost members kidnap one of your dudes and like throw him in the back of a van and drive off or something like that. Like
yeah,
there has to be a reason like where you're not always just the superior victor because they're clearly NPCs. Like you like give them character as
I
opposed to
came
just being bullet fodder.
I came across a video from an account. I won't drop the name, but it was a very heavily modded video from an account that's pretty much 100% modded content. But the whole video was like slow motion fist fight of his character with an NPC of the Lost. It's like, that would be cool if you were the first guy to have done that. but I've seen that so many times. Not to mention the mods, he had so much shit modded onto his cut. His cut looked like its own entity, like it was like it was like huge and blocky and like obviously not resting on his shoulders because there was so much stuff they had to make the cut like
So
triple
so
XL
much
to
bigger
fit.
just to get all the little patches and everything on it.
Yeah, like what are you doing? Like I know you Gunslinger bought some stuff
I
from
did.
biker mods, but it was simple. It was just your character with like a couple of flashes on the front.
Yeah, I had a
I
couple
think it was
office I had
beautiful.
a couple officer tabs, and I cleaned up our patch. So I took like because if you look at Exiled's patch, we have a side rocker and some other stuff that is built onto the patch because that's the only place you can put it with a crew emblem, obviously. So all I did was take that and then move it to the appropriate places on a real cut.
Right.
And the nice thing about that is I have club knowledge. I know how some things should be laid out. I know the purpose. I know the meaning behind them. And that varies a little bit from club to club. Like how your flashes are going to be set up, what they can signify, where they should be, how that's some of that's all going to vary a little bit from club to club. But there are some general basics. And I remember it's kind of funny you bring this up. I remember giving Day Day shit about that one time, because
I
he
didn't
had
do that. He did. I did
because
not
he
do anything.
okay, all right, but Day Day
Yeah,
had
but I
some
had to
some
see.
modded pictures. You can pass the buck to T if you want. I don't care. It was your
No, it
character.
wasn't
You
T. It was the actual modded thing.
oh okay, but anyway. You have to pick what they put on it. If you're paying for it, you tell them what you want. Like they don't just make shit up unless you tell them to just make shit up. Um,
No, I didn't tell him to put that
so
on there.
So
That
Day
was just
Day had a couple of modded pictures, and I don't hate modded content. I feel like a lot of people that are going to be listening to this are going to think that we really hate modded. I don't hate modded content. I think a lot
There
of
is
it's
some
really,
good
it's very
mod
cool.
content.
I got modded content. You have
And
modded
it's
content.
but Day had this one where and I start looking at his vest, and I start looking at like the patches and like what's on it. At the time, they still had a Polito Bay chapter, so his patch on his back has a Polito Bay bottom rocker. No
Oh
big
boy.
deal. Okay, that's your territory claim for that chapter. Fine. He also has a flash, tab, stripe, whatever you want to call it, on the front of his vest under his name that says Polito Bay. And then on the side, he's got a side rocker.
On the side, yeah, that's the
He's got a
one.
side. He's got a
That's the
side rocker.
side rocket.
He's got a side rocker that says, and I'm sure you can guess by now, Polito Bay.
For Little Bay.
So so he's got Polito Bay in three different places on his cut. I have no idea why, and it was one of those things because I know what all of that stuff should mean. I kept looking at it thinking, "You're an idiot." Like that was my friend. Like it didn't matter.
Plain simple.
Like that was the thing. Like I
Oh,
couldn't
shit.
focus on like what the caption for the photo was. I couldn't picture like it didn't matter what the photo was, like what the content of the. All I could think of was all these patches are ridiculous. You have no idea what you're doing. Get away from me.
Oh, I love when people put first nine on the front of their cuts. Like
Oh,
that's a real thing.
we could do an entire other episode uh about the influence of Sons of Anarchy on this community and and
What?
the people that
What those
choose
lines
to
mean?
ignore it and actually like they act like that's not what it is and that's okay like if you're into if like I enjoyed watching Sons of Anarchy in its initial run when it was on TV. I don't really care for the way that it ended. I think that the story got kind of I have my critiques of it as a show. Let's just leave it at that. But um it was a lot of people's introduction to outlaw motorcycle club culture. The problem with that being that it is a very inaccurate depiction of outlaw motorcycle club culture. Jax
Go
Teller
to the
is a
party.
Jax Teller is not Jesus. Jax Teller is not um, a good example to follow. Hell, if you even watch the show, he kills everybody and ends up dead. Spoiler, but like it's it, the club's in shambles after his death because he screws over a bunch of stuff. He destroys his relationship with everybody that he knows, and breaks apart his family, ends up dying. Like there's no positive to using him as a role model, so I've always been kind of confused by that. But the club got, or not the club, the show got little things right, which I did appreciate. Uh, if you go back and watch it, anytime Jax goes up to talk to somebody that isn't a brother in the club, he'll take off his gloves, and he will take off his sunglasses. Both of those are things that you do when greeting a member of the public or a club, as a sign of respect. You never shake somebody's hand while wearing a glove, and you take your sunglasses off so you can actually look them in the eye when you introduce yourself. That's one of those little things that show got right. But the majority of club culture isn't riding around and shooting people and blowing shit up and running guns for the Irish. It's a lot like the first couple episodes where they're having a fundraiser for the school, and like Bobby is pretending to be Elvis for a carnival or whatever. Like it's shit like that. It's more community outreach, and that stuff was right. And then it just kind of went off the fucking rails towards the end. But that's like I said, we could do a whole other episode on how SOA has influenced the GTA MC community. But you're right. People make they order the modded patches, they order these modded content, but they don't know what any of that stuff is supposed to mean. They don't know where these patches should go, what they signify, what that's supposed to be for. They just do stuff because they think it looks cool. And
It's disrespectful to the culture they're trying to emulate.
a lot of stuff that this community does is disrespectful to the culture.
For sure.
I mean, that's an episode in and of itself. Uh, we could do that too if you wanted to. I mean, if you guys want to have that conversation, I've got time. If you want to be on, we can do another episode after this. I don't really.
We can make 3 episodes out of this one episode. Fuck it, dude.
Well, I mean, we're coming up to the hour mark, so I was gonna kind of try to wind things down anyway.
I don't know. I think it was there's some dead air, so you might have to just keep talking.
Not a lot. Like the only dead air was when your dumbass had your mic unplugged and we were trying to get you to say something.
Yeah, I was talking to myself.
Otherwise we've been talking, or at least I've been talking anyway. But
yeah, you talk a lot.
well, that's why I decided to have a podcast. I really like the sound of my own voice. Yeah, it's my show. It's kind of why I decided.
I
to
like
do
the
this.
sound of my own voice. That's
I
the first
do.
time I ever heard you say that.
At least I'll be honest. Like at least I'll be honest about it.
Yeah,
Like I
no.
think that the stuff I have to say is important. Otherwise, I wouldn't project it
would
as
say.
onto an audience like this.
Are you
Like,
calling yourself relevant?
Hold on, fam. Wait a minute, fam.
No.
You gonna tell me that you think the stuff you have to say is important?
I think that the stuff I say is important. It's important to me to say it. It's not necessarily like if other people don't find it important,
all
I don't
right,
fucking care.
all right. It's important to you to say it. Because I was going
Yes.
to say, you came to my party one time, and you didn't say nothing but dumb shit the entire time.
Yeah. Well, that's
They did.
because
But
I
I'm
like
pretty
to go.
sure it was
That's,
important to you
that's solely
to
because
annoy
I
you.
like to harass
So-
you. Like that has absolutely nothing to like when you're live streaming and I'm at work at 3:00 in the morning, and I pull up my phone and say, "Oh, Day-Day's live streaming," and I know you have your comments set to just read into your ear through that Microsoft fucking Sam voice or whatever.
Siri.
Like the Siri voice. Of course I post it, like I write stupid stuff because I know it's going to show up in the live stream and it's going to sound really weird and it's going to annoy you. Like that's the whole reason.
Hey, Day, you are a moron.
It's exactly that. Well,
That's fucking
like I said, I'm going to kind of wind that down because we're hitting our time. Day, if you want to, I think actually Day, Josh, both of you, I thank you for participating in this thing. I don't know how many episodes we're going to end up doing of this.
I
had
only
a lot
came
of.
because he offered to pay me.
This is not true.
He, did offer to pay me.
and-
He
and
already
the-
sent it. It's in my bank account. That's why I'm here.
Right. Okay. I'll give you $5 GTA dollars.
He's giving me more money on top of
Yeah,
the money he
that's-
already paid me.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both for participating in this. We're gonna kind of
Thanks for the invite.
we're gonna call this a night, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Thank you guys for listening. We'll hopefully be back in the somewhat near future with another episode. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but I have a couple ideas, so we'll see where this goes. This has been Beyond Full Throttle.